Hey there, friend. Welcome to Create Conversations. This podcast is designed to connect you with entrepreneurs and creatives from across the country and sometimes around the world. When I was first starting my business, I really didn't have that sense of community to connect with, to bounce ideas off of, to really know that I'm going the right direction or was doing something right. That's why I created this podcast, to give you that community in hopes that it can inspire you and drive you forward through your entrepreneurial journey. So without further ado, let's create some conversations. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm here with my friend Thea. We met at Creative at Heart. She's an awesome website designer and she's just an amazing friend of mine. So we're going to be talking about why you should care about your website and all the design and things. So hi, thanks for joining.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. I remember us meeting at a conference and you talking about starting a podcast and me talking about starting a podcast. I have not even thought about it since then. And you actually did it. So I'm really proud of you and I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, thanks. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, because I know everything and not everyone else knows everything.
Yes. So I think I have a really unique path to like how I started this business, because I went to school for industrial design where we learn about graphic design, but that's not what I went to school for. Industrial design is product. So imagine like furniture and appliances and things like that. And I was really interested in health as well. So I went vegan during college and I realized I think that I wanted to help people instead of like creating furniture. My life calling was like, I need to help people. I didn't know what that meant at the time. We're so young in college, right?
Yeah.
So when I graduated college, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? And I realized I really like nutrition, and I went down the nutrition path and got myself certified as a health coach. And I started my health coaching business, and I had a few clients, and I started to miss art, because in the bottom of it all, I am an artist. But I was like, how the hell am I going to help people with art and like nutrition at the same time? Like the pieces didn't seem to match. But when I was building my health coaching business and building my own brand and building my own website and my business cards, my health coaching friends were like, you can do this stuff? Like, do it for us, please. And that's when, like, you know, the light bulb went off, and I was like, I can create a business that is artistic and design oriented and still help people. So instead of just helping people directly with their health, I'm just helping other wellness entrepreneurs help their clients by helping them launch their business. And that's how it started. It was a year and a half ago in like June of 2017. And I've been able to be full time in this since I started. So I'm really, I love it.
That's so crazy. That's awesome, because I think anyone who has like sort of like an artist background, I feel like they always tend to veer back to it, whether they like it or not. It always comes back in some form. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna do photography forever, but like, look at me, I'm like looking into launching a workshop because with my graphic design stuff, like I always veer back. So
I remember when we met that we talked about this, that you have the design background as well.
Yeah.
I think that as artists, we have to express ourselves. It's just the way that we are. And especially like visual artists, like graphic design, we just have to be making things, you know? So I understand you like coming back to those.
Yeah, for sure. So, you got into website design because your friends and your other health coaches were just like, yes, please do this. You can do this. Please do it for us. So have you been doing it just for health coaches up until this point, or are you kind of like branched out to like other people as well?
No, this is actually something that I love talking about, because when you start creating a business, a lot of people talk to you about having an ideal client, having an avatar. Who are you targeting to, so all of your branding can be specific for the ideal client. And I know a lot of people have a fear of doing that because they don't want to limit themselves. It's like, oh, but I want to work with everyone. I don't want to say that I only work with a specific group. I'll tell you this. Since the beginning, I had an ideal client because I come from a health coaching background and I knew that I want to help people with nutrition. So everywhere in my marketing, in my social media, in my website, it says right there at the top, I work with wellness entrepreneurs, small wellness entrepreneurs. And I get people from all types of business wanting to work with me. I have done website for like coaching, no, sorry, what is it? I speak too much Portuguese in my house and my English doesn't come really easily. Tutoring, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Tutoring kids for the SAT, ACT, nothing to do with health. A local brick and mortar store that sells kids clothing. I just got, before jumping on the call with you, someone reached out to me to work with them on their website for finance. So, and they know what I do, but in the end of the day, it's about your skills and they want to hire you for your skills. So they see that you have a target market, but people are still going to reach out. So yeah, I've been working with a lot of different people. Sometimes I say no. I'll tell you this though. I prioritize my ideal clients because that's what I love. And then those other people that come to me outside of the industry, the wellness industry, I can then say, let me see, do I really want to work with this? And then I have an option of saying yes or no.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because, yeah, I still get people that talk to me. They're like, oh, you're a wedding photographer, right? I'm like, no, I don't do that anymore. But I can refer you to any of my friends who are wedding photographers, but, But it's kind of nice, though, that you have that option, that you've created this target market so well that you can be like, oh, maybe I'll work with this brick and mortar business because that sounds cool. Not that it's necessarily your target market, but something that you think is cool. So exactly. I think that's nice that you have that little bit of flexibility. So why do you think that a good website is so important for small businesses? I know why it's important, but I'm curious to hear your opinion.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of business nowadays, especially small business, don't have an office, don't have a brick and mortar, they don't have a physical place. So your website kind of becomes the home of your business. In this world, everything is digital now. So I love when I go to my website, it's like, this is my little like home for my business. That's why I think it's really, really important. And it's a place that you can direct people to. There's so much information on your website, and at the end of the day, it shows a couple of things about who you are. So it's a way for people to know about your business, what you offer without you having to do anything, right? So it shows your professionalism because if you have a well-designed website, people can expect great service from you because they experience such great functionality in your website. It also, I think the more attention to detail that you put into your website, the client will know that that's the kind of service that you're going to provide to them when you work with them one-on-one. Also, I love talking about websites as like a second assistant or just a main assistant to you, because as a small entrepreneur, sometimes you don't have the money to hire people to work for you. So it's so important for a small business to see a website as like a tool that can do things for them that they don't have the time to do. For example, someone wants to work with you, they're going to email you and say, oh, what are the services that you provide? What pricing is for all of your services? That the website eliminates that because everything is on your website. Second, someone wants to hire you and pick a time slot to have a free call with you. The website can do that for you. You can have a form that they fill out, and then it instantly takes them to your calendar and books a time slot with you without you having to do anything. So it just eliminates work from you as a small business owner for you to focus on what you actually want to do, which is serve your clients or sell your products or whatever you want.
Yeah, no, those are all good points. And how you phrase it, like it being an assistant, like that's basically what it is. And it's kind of funny to kind of put that in perspective because like you can put an opt-in for emails and then you can which can help you invest in those people to hopefully invest in you. And there's just like all these things. So it definitely like kind of growls my nerves when people are like, oh, I don't need a website. And I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. So on that same note, what do you say to anyone who feels that a well-functioning website isn't as important, or may feel that they don't need a website? They're like, oh, I just have my Facebook page, that's fine. Oh, I just have an Instagram, that's fine.
You know, when I hear this question, I think that at the end of the day, I'm not a marketing person, and I'm not, you know, a strategist, even though actually I think I am, but let's not say like I'm not a marketing person, right? I don't know what's best for everybody's business. And I do personally know businesses that don't have a website, or a very crappy website that they don't send to anyone because they're embarrassed of. And they do so amazing their business because they're very like people. You know, they love one-on-one marketing. They love to go and talk to people face to face, and they get a bunch of recommendations, and they are successful that way. Do I think that's most of the people out there? I don't know, you know. So I think it's about like your personality. If you want to be big locally in your community, and you know everyone, and you like to go out and everybody knows your face and everybody's recommending you, maybe the website can be secondary because you want to save money for someone else, something else. But if you're most of us, and you want to expand maybe nationally or internationally, and you need a place for people to find you, then you need a website. And let's say that someone is Googling a service like coaching, like health coaching. They're going to find a bunch of websites. Sometimes pricing can be secondary to them hiring, to how you present yourself. So a website that's well designed, that might be a little pricier, and another website for a health coach who offers a service at a lower price point, but the website isn't great. Sometimes people will go for the higher price point because the website is better, and you think, oh, they're a better coach because they're more successful, or they put more attention to the details, and they just look like they got shit together.
Yeah.
Also, you gotta present yourself well. It's like when you go to an interview and you look really good, that's your website. It's important everything functions well, that it looks nice, that it looks like thought went behind it.
Yeah. No, exactly. But that's another good comparison about an interview. Like, you don't want to go into an interview looking like a slob. You want to look like you're professional and you know what you're doing, and you're gonna actually invest in your clients. Like that. You're having all the good comparisons today, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is mind blowing. Even though I know all this stuff, but it's just like, that's such a good comparison. That's so good.
Oh, I'm surprising myself with this, I'll tell you.
So, let's see where my questions are at. For those who may not have all the money in the world to invest in a website, like, what are some options you recommend? Because like, not everyone can afford a Squarespace website, as much as I plug Squarespace all the time, but it's an investment. It's something that you need to invest in, or not everyone can hire someone like you to design their website. So what are some options for them?
Okay, so I think that maybe we can look at how much money you have to invest. So if you have a little bit of money and you can pay to have a website up, but you just cannot hire someone to do it for you, then I think that's the first step, is just try to do it yourself. Buy a template from someone that created a beautiful website, and you just like change it to your wording, or just go to Squarespace and find one. So you're still spending some money, which, you know, it's cheaper than hiring a designer. I'll tell you this, it will take a lot more time if you're gonna do it yourself, because a designer can get it done much faster because that's their job. But if you're saving money, maybe that's the route to go. If you don't want to spend any money, you really cannot invest in a website right now, I have two recommendations. If you have a MailChimp account, MailChimp is a emailing service provider that you can send newsletter to your clients. You can have a free account if you have less than, I don't know, a couple thousand subscribers. And in there, you can create landing pages for free. And you can have a landing page that just has your logo at the top. It explains your services, your pricing, your packages, and how to reach out to you. You're not spending any money on it. And at least you have something online with your name on it that you can refer people to. Another option is to have a really strong social media presence so people can find you somewhere. And when they find you, they're gonna ask you again, what are your services, your prices? And I'm talking mostly about like service business. I just realized, but maybe you're selling things. But anyways, maybe have a PDF that would have all the information that your website would have. So who you are, your background, what you offer, your pricing, how to reach out to you, how to move forward, and then send people the PDF until you have your website done, and that doesn't also cost anything.
Yeah, those are all good ideas. And I didn't realize that for MailChimp that you can make different landing pages. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it won't look like a website, but hey, one step at a time, you do what you can.
Yeah, exactly. So have you seen how well functioning websites have positively impacted business, like a business that you've worked with? And if you could give an example, just to kind of give people an idea of like, okay, like maybe I'm thinking about upgrading up to a website or whatever. Like what can that look like for me?
Yeah. I think it goes back to what I talked before about making your website your assistant. So let's say you want a website, don't just think about it as, oh, I'm just creating this one thing and it's going to live there and that's the end of it. Think about all the ways the website is going to help you. So one example is someone that I worked with earlier this year. Her business is Rare Velvet Design. She's also a designer, not a website designer. That's why she hired me. And she sells beautiful prints. So before, how was she selling her prints? People would just like refer her and she would talk to them and like mail them the prints. Now she has a place online that people can go to, order from her, and she doesn't have to do anything, just like put it in a box and ship it to them. So now what? She has more time to create more art, to socialize more, to be more creative. Another client that I had this year that I think really greatly benefited from her website was Laura. Laura Hurd. She's a big coaching like well known, I think, in the holistic wellness world. And in her website, we also wanted to do those things like how can the website help her so she had less work to do. So her website has all of her services laid out. Each of her services has a different contact form with specific questions. That already eliminated so much work for her because she didn't have to be back and forth in emails with potential clients. And then after they fill out the form, we will direct them to her calendar. They will set up an appointment with her and pay right away. She didn't have to be sending invoices. She didn't have to confirming what time works for you. It just cleared up so much time for her. So now she can actually create important, relevant work to share with her clients instead of just spending all that time with email exchange.
Right. Yeah. And that's like something I always say, like, I push HoneyBook because that's just like something that I use, especially for service-based businesses, because you can set things all up that it eliminates all of that. And if you have that set up on your website, then piggybacking on HoneyBook to have like kind of complete that full circle, because then you're not like constantly going, okay, like what time works best for you? And like, I don't know, what do I like? Because no one wants to make a decision half the time. And you just have to you have to help take that decision making out of it, or make it so it's easy for them to make a decision and not like, because I mean, I was just talking to my friend and we couldn't decide on what to do like tomorrow night. Like we're just like, oh, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, I'm up for anything. Like no one wants to make a decision. So if your website can do that, that helps.
I think you're 100% correct. And just like HoneyBook, you have to invest a little bit of money on HoneyBook. You have to invest a little bit of money on your website to have it running. But the investment that you're gonna make to those platforms and pay for it monthly, it's gonna be nothing compared to the amount of free time you're gonna have to maybe take 5 more clients and or create another ebook you can sell. You're gonna make so much more money by investing a little money on something like HoneyBook.
Right. No, exactly. So what advice would you give someone who wants to invest in website design?
I have a lot. Like the first thing is like finding someone who you really resonate with and that it's going to understand the vision that you have. Because there's a lot of amazing designers out there and you can like people's aesthetics, but you have to know that working specific people is going to make the whole process easier or more difficult. For example, earlier this year, I went to a conference in New York for health coaches through the school that I got my certification for. And I was talking to a couple of health coaches there to understand, how they're creating their logos and websites. And one of them told me that she found a designer on, I think, Fiverr, which is a place that you can just look for like hourly work design. And the guy that was going to create her logo knew nothing about wellness, didn't have a passion for wellness, didn't understand anything. So even though she could tell him her vision, he could not execute because it just doesn't share, that same knowledge and passion for it. So when I work with my wellness clients, they always say, "Oh my God, like how did you know that's what I wanted?" And it's like I was having so much trouble explaining to you my vision, but it seems like you got exactly what I wanted and you created it. But that's because I'm also a health coach and I also come from the industry and I understand what her clients needs because my clients needed that back when I was a health coach. So just really put the homework into finding a designer and talk to a handful of designers to find someone that's a good match for you. The whole experience would be better.
Right. No, exactly. Because I mean, that's what I'd say to anyone who looks for a branding photographer. I know I'm not going to be for everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. And there are branding photographers that I invest in, and there are others that I'm like, oh, they're super great, but they're just not, they don't fit what I need for my brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always say, and I say to anyone who's getting married, anyone who's getting a photographer, just like do your research. Don't pick the first person and don't look at the prices.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be, like if prices is a big part, then okay, yes, but you should be looking at their personality first, their work, and seeing if you gel with them, because like it's scary to stand in front of a camera. Like it's not, it's a vulnerable thing. And so you want someone there to be who you're comfortable with, and you're not going to be like, oh, these are awkward. And then you get back the pictures and you're like, oh, those are awkward. And then you're just gonna be like, I wasted a bunch of money on awkward photos of myself when I could have done that with my phone. So
well said.
yeah. So, I mean, that's just, I feel like that's with any service-based business. You need to do your research and you need to talk to people, and it's okay to talk to people. And our feelings aren't going to be hurt. If we're not chosen, it's okay. We just know that we weren't the right fit, and that's okay.
Yes, 100%. Now, if you already found your designer, I think that you can take more advantage of them than you think. One of it is connections. Your designer probably knows photographers and copywriters and like other resources that maybe they partner with, and they can even get a better rate for you. So I have photographer friends in Miami and I have copywriting friends in Miami that I recommend to my clients, and they offer a lower rate for my clients. So take advantage of your website designer. Something else is that ask your designer for help in those other areas. So for example, when I first talk to a client about a project and they're like, yes, let's do this, and they need to get photos done, I talk to them about what are they going to wear? What are the branding colors? Make sure your clothes match with your website. Or what kind of size of photo would look better on this website. For example, I personally, as a designer, love to have big rectangular long banner images on websites and write text on top of it. So I tell my client, talk to your photographer and try to work on having horizontal, like long images where you are in one corner of the photo and you have empty space on the other side, so the designer can write text and add buttons and make the website more dynamic. So talk to your designer and see what are the ways that they like to manipulate photo for the website, and how you should maybe talk to your designer, to your photographer, so they can make photos accordingly.
Exactly. And I mean, that's something that anyone should be talking with a branding photographer, because that's something that they should know and they should understand. And it should be all open communication with everyone. Like, communicate with your website designer. Like, what are they, for your design, what are they thinking that they're going to need for photos? And then communicate that to your branding photographer, which I'm sure your branding photographer well, they should, I know I do. I give kind of a range of photos, like the headshot types, the ones for a banner, the ones that are more vertical. I give you some for Instagram. I give you some for social, like just give you a wide range so then you can get the most out of your session. So it's not like, okay, I just got my banner photos. Cool.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
What other advice?
for anyone?
Yeah.
Like where do you recommend people starting to search for like a website designer? Like, should they go to Instagram? Should they go to Google? Like, or does it just not matter?
So I think I'm gonna answer this on like taking into perspective how I like to hire people. For me, recommendations and word of mouth is huge. When I got my photographers to do my website, I got them recommended through people that I knew, and then I stalked them and all of their work, and I'm like, yes, they're awesome. So then we work together. So for a web designer, I think first I would look, if you have friends that have websites that you really love, ask them who did it. If you have people that you admire in the industry that have really beautiful websites, at the bottom of the website, it usually says who did the website. It gives them credit, so you can find designers through going to other people's websites that you like. Yeah, that's probably like the two
Yeah.
ways to do it.
Yeah, because I mean that's a big thing, having word of mouth. Like, if someone's recommending a person, they must be pretty good and resonating with them enough to be like, oh yeah, you should go to them too. Yeah, for sure. So a question that I ask every single guest, what is the best thing to you about being an entrepreneur?
There's so many. Well, I think the first one that comes to mind is mobility, like flexibility of location. I love to travel. I've been to New York so many times this year. I had to go to Brazil to see family because of like emergencies that happen. And because I work for myself, I can work from anywhere, and I don't have to take time off or ask for permission. I can just go wherever I want, take my computer with me and keep, rocking. Other thing is time freedom. I really believe that we're not all designed to be 9-to-5ers. Some people work best in the morning, and some people like to work 3 hours, take 3-hour break, and then work more like 5 hours. I do that sometimes. So the time freedom for sure. And I think that I started my business very young. I think we're like similar age. And I haven't worked for a lot of other people, I never had like an office job, but I did used to work for a really awesome juice company here in Miami, and I was managing some of their locations, and I never felt like, I always wanted to do my best, and I did, and I went above and beyond for them, but I never felt like there was growth because my growth was capped at whatever my position could do. But now that I work for myself, I feel like the sky's the limit. I could do anything. I could be anything. I can go wherever I want. I can be. It just my creativity juices is always running, and I'm always inspired to grow. And however much time and dedication I put into my business, that's how much I'm going to get in return. And while that might sound scary because you don't have a stable paycheck, I know that I can accomplish more and I can make more. Because if I just work harder, that will reflect in all types of abundance that comes to my life because of it, and not just because someone says, oh, you're gonna make 50,000 a year doing this job. It's like, no, I can make as much as I want.
Right. No, exactly. You can decide like where your paycheck is coming from and what you want to invest in more to grow that side or grow your client side or whatever. Like, you have the freedom to structure as you will.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
I also don't feel stuck. I feel like if you go to school for, I don't know, finance, and then you go get a job in finance, and then it's like, that's going to be your thing your whole life. And maybe you love that, and that's fine. And it's fine that I'm giving this example because both of my parents are in finance and my brother is in finance student, but that's not why I thought about that at all. But I just feel that I have the flexibility to grow. For example, you were a photographer, and now a wedding photographer, then you change to branding photography, and now you're going back to graphic design. Like you have, the flexibility to do all of that. And I feel that too. I started doing websites, but I know that soon this year I'm going to have products on my shop, and I'm going to have an e-course coming up talking about strategy, which is not necessarily design. So I feel like I can mold and create whatever I want. That feels awesome.
Yeah, no, exactly. But thank you so much for being on. Where can everyone find you if they don't already know?
No, thank you. Really, I really appreciate this opportunity. So you can find me on my website, which is BiaAlvarezDesign.com. Also, social media, it's the same thing at BiaAlvarezDesign.com. Or just Bia Alvarez Design.
Well, super easy. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening to today's podcast. And until next time, bye guys.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to today's podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you leave a review because that really, really helps us grow the show. If you want to continue to support this podcast, head over to our Patreon from the link in the description or the link in the show notes, where you can sign up for one of 3 tiers where you get exclusive merch, a direct line to me to tell me who I should have on the show, as well as getting to hear and see the podcast days before it releases to the public. I'm so excited for all the other exciting things that I'm going to be sharing with my patrons, and I can't wait to see you there. This podcast is also sponsored by HoneyBook. HoneyBook is an amazing client management service that I've been using for years, and they are absolutely incredible. They are so incredible that they're giving you guys an exclusive deal for 50% off your first year with them. That is a $200 savings, which is so crazy and so amazing. So you guys should head over to the link in the description or the link in the show notes to grab that amazing deal. This podcast is edited and produced by Earbrads. You can find them at Earbrads on Instagram or at earbrads.com. You can find me at Vanessa Jordan Photo on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest, and you can also find me on my YouTube channel, Vanessa Jordan Photography, if you are listening to the podcast version and not watching the YouTube version of this podcast. And you can also find me at VanessaJordanPhotograph.com. And until next time, I cannot wait to create some amazing conversations with you.